When my father died, Mom said she'd never love again. For years, I believed her, until the day I saw her holding another man's hand and smiling the way she used to with Dad. I wanted to be happy for her, I really did. But something inside me just broke. When my father died, Mom said she'd never love again. I remember those words like a promise carved in stone. For years, she wore nothing but gray and soft blues. Like her world had lost all its color. I used to hear her cry at night, quietly, like she didn't want the house to know. We lived in a small town in Oregon. The kind of place where everyone knows everyone's stories. Especially the sad ones. I was 17 when Dad passed. Mom became my whole world. She worked double shifts at the diner, packed my lunches, and told me I'd do great things someday. I never once saw her look at another man, not once. Then last spring, something changed. It started with little things, a new dress, brighter lipstick, humming while she cooked. She'd check her phone and smile, the kind of soft, secret smile I hadn't seen since before Dad got sick. I didn't ask at first. I thought maybe she'd joined one of those church groups or made new friends. But then one Saturday, she said she was meeting someone from work for coffee. Someone from work. I didn't think much of it until she came home glowing. Literally glowing. She looked 10 years younger. That night, I caught her looking at herself in the mirror, fixing her hair, practicing a smile. That's when I realized Mom was in love. And instead of feeling happy for her, my chest tightened. It felt like betrayal. Like she was erasing Dad, one smile at a time. I wish I'd talked to her that night. Instead, I just watched her walk past me, humming softly, holding her phone close like a secret she wasn't ready to share. A week later, Mom finally said his name. Paul. He works with me at the diner, she said, trying to sound casual. He's kind, and he listens. I nodded, pretending it didn't sting. But inside, I was screaming. My dad had been kind to. He'd listened to, and he was gone. The next Sunday, Mom invited Paul over for dinner. I wanted to say no to tell her I wasn't ready, but she looked so excited. I couldn't. So, I cooked her favorite pasta. The one Dad used to make on their anniversaries. Maybe it was cruel. Maybe I wanted her to feel the same guilt that was eating me alive. When the doorbell rang, I froze. Mom opened the door, and there he was. Paul wasn't what I expected. He looked ordinary. Late 40s, a gentle smile, gray hair at the temples. He brought flowers, not roses, but daisies. Dad used to bring Mom daisies. You must be Emma, he said kindly. Your mom talks about you all the time. I forced a smile. All good things, I hope. He laughed, but I didn't. Dinner was polite, but heavy. Every time Mom laughed at his jokes, something inside me burned. She hadn't laughed like that in years. After dessert, Paul offered to wash the dishes. I wanted to refuse, but Mom looked at him like he'd hung the moon. When he left, Mom stood by the window, watching his car disappear down the street. He's different, Em, she whispered. He makes me feel seen again. I didn't answer. I just looked at her, my mother glowing in the soft porch light like a girl in love. That night, I couldn't sleep. I scrolled through her phone while she showered. There were messages, long ones. Good morning, beautiful. You make every day brighter. Dinner tomorrow. Can't wait to see you. My chest tightened. It wasn't just a crush. It was real. And I hated it. The next day, I told my best friend, Clara. She listened quietly, then said, Emma, maybe your mom deserves happiness too. Happiness. I snapped. What about loyalty? What about Dad? Clara sighed. Your dad's gone. She's still here. I didn't answer. Because deep down, I knew she was right. But knowing didn't make it hurt any less. Paul started showing up more often. Sometimes he'd drop by after work with coffee for Mom. Or fix something around the house, the leaky faucet, the broken porch light. He was helpful, too helpful. Every time he stepped inside our home, I felt like he was replacing pieces of my dad, one chore, one smile at a time. Mom didn't notice how quiet I'd become. Or maybe she did, and just didn't want to face it. One evening, I came home early and found them dancing in the living room. No music, just silence and soft laughter. I stood frozen in the hallway. For a second, I almost smiled. She looked so happy, her head resting on his shoulder. But then guilt hit me like a wave. That shoulder wasn't Dad's. Wow, I said finally, my voice sharper than I intended. Guess we're just replacing family now. Mom turned, startled. Emma, it's not. Not what? Not love. Because it sure looks like it. Paul stepped back, awkward. Maybe I should. Yeah, I snapped. Maybe you should. He left quietly. Mom followed me into the kitchen, tears in her eyes. You don't understand, she said softly. Then help me, I shouted. Help me understand how you can move on like Dad never existed. Mom's voice broke. I miss him every day. Emma, but missing him doesn't mean I have to stop living. I couldn't look at her. I just grabbed my jacket and left. Outside, the air was cold, sharp, like it wanted to punish me for being cruel. I walked to the old park where Dad used to take me when I was little. I sat on the swings, staring at the stars, trying to remember the sound of his laugh. For the first time, I wondered what he'd say if he saw us now. Would he be angry at Mom, or at me? The next morning, I saw Paul's truck outside again. I almost turned around, but something made me stop. Through the window, I saw him helping Mom hang new curtains, the same blue ones Dad had picked years ago. He wasn't replacing him. He was trying to fit into the empty space he'd left behind. Still, I couldn't let it go. That night, I did something I'm not proud of. I went through Paul's Facebook page, his photos, his friends, his past. I was searching for something, anything, to prove he wasn't who he seemed. And then I found it. A picture. Him, with another woman. Her hand on his chest. Both smiling. Captioned, always. It was dated just last year. My heart dropped. I didn't know if she was his wife or girlfriend, but I knew one thing. Mom had no idea. And I wasn't going to let her heart get broken again. I didn't sleep that night. My heart was pounding, my thoughts racing. I couldn't believe Mom was falling for a man who already had someone else. I felt like I had to protect her, even if it meant hurting her first. The next morning, I waited for Paul to show up. He came around 10 a.m., carrying a box of pastries like he always did. Morning, Emma, he smiled. I didn't smile back. Where's she? His brow furrowed. She. I pulled out my phone and showed him the photo. Her, the woman you were with. The one you said nothing about. His face went pale. For a second, he didn't say anything. Then he exhaled, long and tired. That's my wife, he said quietly. Your wife? I almost shouted. Mom came rushing in from the kitchen. Emma, what's going on? He's married, Mom. I cried, waving the phone at her. Look, he's lying to you. Mom's eyes darted to Paul, desperate, searching. Paul, is this true? He nodded slowly. She passed away, Helen, 2 years ago. Cancer. The room went silent. My breath caught in my throat. That picture, he continued softly, was taken the week before she started chemo. I never deleted it. I couldn't. Mom's hand trembled as she reached for his. I'm so sorry, she whispered, but I couldn't move. My chest ached. My anger, my judgment, all of it felt so small now. You think I'd lie to your mother? Paul said gently. Emma, I know what it's like to lose someone you love. That's why I understand her pain. That's why I care. Mom started to cry, not from guilt, but from the kind of grief that never really leaves. Paul held her, and for the first time, I didn't feel anger. I just felt lost. I turned away and went upstairs, shutting my door, but his words echoed in my head all night. I know what it's like to lose someone you love. Maybe that's what had brought them together, not replacing the people they lost, but finding someone who understood the silence left behind. The next morning, I found Mom sitting on the porch, coffee in hand, eyes red but calm. "I'm sorry," I whispered. She smiled faintly. "You were protecting me. That's what your father would have done too. I just didn't want you to forget him." She looked at the sunrise, soft orange light filling the sky. "Sweetheart, I could never forget him. But loving someone new doesn't mean I stopped loving your dad. It just means I learned to keep living." I nodded, tears burning my eyes. For the first time, I understood. Love doesn't erase what came before. It carries it gently, quietly, into the next chapter. A week passed before I saw Paul again. Mom didn't pressure me to talk. She just gave me space, the same way she always had, ever since Dad died. I spent those days thinking about everything he said. And everything I'd done, how I'd searched for flaws instead of kindness, how I'd guarded memories instead of hearts. One evening, I came home from work and saw Paul's truck in the driveway again. For a second, I thought about turning around, but then I noticed Mom through the window, laughing softly as he helped her hang a picture frame. It was my dad's photo, the one from their wedding day. Paul wasn't taking his place. He was helping her honor it. I walked inside quietly. Mom turned, surprised but smiling. "Hey honey, we were just fixing this old frame. It looks nice," I said softly. Paul hesitated. "Emma, I just want you to know, I'm not here to change your family. I just want to be part of it," I finished for him. He nodded, eyes glistening. For the first time, I really saw him not as the man replacing my father, but as someone trying to build something with us, not over us. "Mom tells me you bake," Paul said gently. "Maybe one day you could teach me that famous apple pie recipe." I laughed, a real laugh this time. "Only if you promise not to burn the kitchen." Mom's eyes filled with tears, the happy kind. That night, we had dinner together. No tension, no silence. Just laughter, soft music, and the feeling that maybe we were going to be okay. Later, when Mom went to bed, I stepped outside. The air was cool, the stars quiet. I whispered, "Hey Dad, I think you'd like him." For a moment, I almost felt a breeze brush my cheek, gentle, warm, like a blessing. I smiled. Love hadn't left us after all. It had just changed shape. Sometimes, the heart doesn't move on. It learns to make room.